it's like the door to the womb.
Okay.
So you open up the cervix with what we call dilatation with a dilator.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, of course, the patient is under anesthesia. And after that, you want to curette or perform a curettage, which some people say, oh, I had a scraping, but it's the same idea. The idea that it's a sharp kind of spoon-like looking instrument called a curette. And we go up and we use it to remove the lining, the endometrial lining. With the endometrial is the fifth lining of the uterus. And you want to remove that. It's good for diagnostic purposes in that a patient might be bleeding, maybe you have her on hormones and nothing's working. You want to just take her in and remove that lining for diagnostic purposes. You can send it to the pathology lab. They look at it, see if there's any abnormal cells. Sometimes just from that little procedure you could find a polyp, or you could find a small submucosal or fibroid in the lining of the uterus, which might be the simple reason why this person has been bleeding.
Okay.
It also goes according to the symptoms, and it also goes according to the age group. If somebody is menopausal and they're bleeding, every time somebody's menopausal and bleeding, doesn't mean they have cancer, but there's a higher risk. So you always have to go in and do that DNC. Some people do endometrial biopsy, which is to go in and do it in your office. I like to take patients into the hospital and remove that whole lining so the pathologist can have more to work with. And so if a woman is postmenopausal and she's bleeding, you do want to make sure that that lining is benign. It might be thickened, but at least it's benign. You can give the patient the good news. And if God forbid it's malignant, you have caught it early, and you can do something for the patient.
I'm listening to you, and I'm wondering if I'm capturing everything. But how long is a person supposed to bleed after a DNC is done?
After DNC is done, it depends. DNC is done for different reasons. Because, you have DNC for people who have had miscarriages.
Right.
You have a miscarriage and it's not totally out. The doctor might want to take you in and remove what's left in there.
Right.
Those people tend to bleed a little bit more because the uterus is still soft and it's still vascular. And so they tend to bleed a little bit more. So it depends on what the situation is. If somebody who goes in because they're having a miscarriage, you might expect some bleeding and spotting up for maybe a week or even more than that. As long as it's not doing any bright red bleeding, then there's really nothing to worry about. If the patient is just going in for a DNC because her period is not coming right and the doctor want to make a decision, then you say to the patient, you should have some spotting after 3 to 4 days, but if it goes to 7 days, because you don't want patients to see more than 3 to 4 days and then they panic.
Right.
Because all it is that same lining that you took off, the blood vessels under there, and sometimes it's bleeding. So as long as it's not bright red blood, the patient has nothing to worry about if it's within, say 5 to 7 days of bleeding. Or spotting.
13 minutes after 7 o'clock. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Health Zone brought to you here on Linkage Radio 104.5 FM. Inside the Zone, I'm your host, Lady D, and I'm inviting everyone to tune in this evening. International Women's Month. It is a very broad spectrum. We cover just about everything. Most importantly, women's health. And that is why Dr. Monica Martin, she has become a staple here on the show in Health Zone. And we're discussing D and C this evening. And she's defining and breaking it out for us. And I'm here asking questions so that for those of you who are perhaps a little timid to ask the questions, but if you're bold enough and you'd like to find out more, 914-600-4228, 914-202-4934 are the telephone numbers to call. Now, for people who have had miscarriages, Dr. Martin, and you do the DNC, is it likely that they'll be able to become pregnant again? Are they, because they're women who they just seem to not to be able to go full term in their pregnancy?
Well, that's a totally different situation, a different diagnosis. There's so many reasons why people have miscarriages. Sometimes the ovum or the egg gets what we call blighted or didn't develop or it developed to a point, and then for some reason or other medical reasons, whatever may have come into the picture,
right.
the woman has a miscarriage. Usually that happens in the first trimester, but it can happen right through, as you know, people can lose their babies sadly enough any time with a pregnancy.
Right.
But it depends on what's the cause of the miscarriage. But a DNC for you're asking if having had a miscarriage, your risk of having another child, what is it, or the DNC itself?
The DNC
what's
itself, what the risk afterwards.
But the DNC, if the DNC is done well, that's why I keep emphasizing that people should make sure they go to people who know what they're doing.
Right.
If the DNC is done well, there shouldn't be a problem. The risk to a DNC is that, again, if not done well, if not done under sterile conditions, the patient can develop infection. And if you develop infection after a DNC, then that's not a good picture, because then you're talking about the lining of the uterus getting infected. It can become scarred. We have a disease called Asherman, where the whole lining is so damaged that you can never have a child again. But those things shouldn't really happen if great care is taken. We have a thing we call zealous over-curating, when people, the patient is bleeding a lot and they want so much to cure the patient, they become overzealous and they, scrape the daylight sorry to say it like that, out of the uterus. And so the lining of the uterus, that lining, those cells at the base are supposed to regenerate new cells, are all damaged. So the woman cannot, regenerate or regrow her endometrial lining again. Again, that's rare, but then in the hands of somebody who doesn't know exactly what they're doing or is in too much of a rush, these things can happen. But a DNC by itself absolutely has there's no reason for a woman not to get pregnant again.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen,
Am I losing you?
No, I'm here. I'm sorry. Welcome once again, Health Zone, International Women's Month. And we're talking about DNC. Dr. Monica Martin, my guest each and every second Thursday. Today is Thursday, March 9. Welcome. Dr. Martin, somebody hears about DNC.
Yes.
Their doctor says to them, well, I'm recommending a DNC. And perhaps they walk you through step by step, but they're still a little scared. Have you ever encountered a patient who says, I'm not going to do that? And you know that the requirement is such that they have to do it.
Yeah. Well, people shy away from practically every procedure because, to be honest, the reality is that things happen. And another thing is that people come to you and say, oh, my cousin has this and he developed this. And
right.
I always tell my patients not to listen. Let me and them have a conversation. Do not go out there and listen to somebody else telling you what happened to their cousin or to their aunt, because you don't know the circumstances. So sometimes people shy away from procedures that are necessary, and it could lead to their detriment, unfortunately. But if you are advised by your physician and you trust your physician that you need a DNC, I think it's really the way to go.
Okay. If you'd like to ask Dr. Martin a question, you may call 914-600-4228 or 914-202-4934. That's 914-600-4228, 914-202-4934. DNC, we have been hearing the term. We do not know what it means. Even if a doctor says it, they're perhaps saying, oh my goodness. So you're actually going to be scraping, terminology scare people.
Yes, it does.
Terminology scare. Yes, go ahead.
That is why I like to spend time with the patients to explain. There's nothing worse than fear. When you're afraid, you make wrong decisions sometimes. So it's always good for the patient to clearly understand what they're being told, and to have a concept. Sometimes I show pictures, diagrams, to get the full understanding. People get a full understanding of what I'm really trying to explain to them.
Now, in your area of study, you've had to, you've seen so many things. so many.
Yeah.
Though the diagnosis might be the same, but the application patient by patient
It's different.
is different. Very different, I'm sure. Over time, how have you managed to maintain your composure, especially when you know that your patient is extremely concerned? Separate and apart from you having to explain to them in detail, but knowing that this is also invasive, correct?
Yes. Well, it's invasive. It's interesting when people understand. There's something about the mind when it gets that clear picture. People tend to function at a different level. It's as if you and your patient are in this together. They have an understanding. It's not like you're just there doing everything and they're just following along. They don't have a clue. People come to me and I say, what did the doctor say? Oh, he said something that I don't quite understand. To me, that's really bad, because to go home with that feeling that you have no clue what was told to you about your own body, it's very sad and tragic. So I keep my composure, because most of the time people tend to understand what I'm saying, and I spend time understanding, like trying to get them to understand.
Yes.
And I have actually canceled cases if people are really confused. I said, you want to wait another week, give them some more time to understand it. That's very important part of the procedure. When somebody's going under anesthesia, they just feel really alone and not understanding what's going on. So that's a very important part of my work. Make sure to understand what I'm saying.
Yes. DNC.
That's why I speak different languages.
That's right. Would you like to? I know. Can you put out a little of the? Is it Chinese?
Chinese.
Yeah. Is it Chinese or Korean or something, Dr. Martin? And what does that mean?
Just said, how are you? Hello, how are you?
Translation, please.
Hello, how are you?
I know. All right. I'm well, thank you. I can respond in English.
I could say something to you. I said, Lady D, 你是漂亮. Means, Lady D, you're very beautiful.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to hold on to that from now going forth.
Clarity and understanding is very key to a medical practice. That's what I think.
Yes. And we're back on the D and C. Could you give them the what that means again, Dr. Martin?
The D and C, D stands for dilatation and C stands for curettage.
Okay.
Curettage is some old French word that means, clearing out or cleaning or curing. So it just means that you're going and you're clearing out whatever might be the problem. But the most important part of that, as I say, can be therapeutic in that the patient might feel better from just you doing that. And it's diagnostic in the sense that when the pathologist, every piece of that tissue has to go to the pathologist. And the pathologist will send back a report saying this cell or that cell or what's what or what's not. And then that way you can intelligently inform your patient.
Okay. And we know that it is done. You can just give a brief recap because it's 24 minutes after 7. You can just give a brief recap of what you outlined to our audience this evening.
Well, it is done for, I have mentioned most of the things it's done for, but it's done for women who have, abnormal bleeding, and sometimes the doctors try to put them on hormones and it doesn't help. Women who have abnormal bleeding, maybe due to polyps, that are little growths inside the lining of the uterus, bleeding from thickening of the lining, bleeding from early cancer, especially in women in the menopausal phase, bleeding postpartum. Let's say even people who have had a baby, They can develop bleeding afterwards, in which case a DNC can be done. And the instrument's not a little different, but a DNC can be done on a woman with a baby after 9 months. If we call it retained, all the placenta did not come out, sometimes the placenta is very complex, and all of it is not removed. So sometimes the woman has to go back in for that, you know. And there are other things to do DNC for, dilatation for. There are women who, you have some young women, they never have a period, and they'll start their period is going to be late, but it turns out they have severe stenosis or closing of the cervix, so the blood of period cannot come out. So a lot of times, women think, oh, my period didn't come, I was 13 or I was this. But it turns out that they have a total stenosis and all that blood was inside. And they were actually having the bleeding inside of them.
Oh, man.
You know, it's called cervical stenosis, where, women just think that, no, I didn't reach puberty yet, or I didn't have menarche or menopause, I didn't reach, have my period yet. But it turned out they were having their period. Every month they have pain and they get discomfort and then they go to the doctor. And they're 11 and 12 and 13. And I had a woman in my office and it was just so frightening. I rushed her to the hospital and there it was. She had a uterus full with so much blood from
my
months.
Goodness.
She was menstruating within her uterus and nothing came out.
So
there's a lot of things that happen to this body of ours. There's a thing called a molar pregnancy, where a pregnant woman can be pregnant, but it turns into what we call a hydrocytiform mole. In other words, her belly is getting so huge, but there's no baby in there. And that's another reason sometimes you do a sonogram and you realize, oh my goodness, this is not a baby, this is just a mole. So you have to go in and remove it with a DNC.
Okay.
And there's so many different reasons. But the most important thing is that if any of your listeners have a reason to have a DNC, know why you're getting it.
Yes.
And follow
the proper procedure. Dr. Martin? Oh, I think we lost her. All right, I believe she'll give me a call back to wrap up. But ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are listening, I hope you're taking notes. I should also say hi to Touch FM Radio 90.1. I'd like to say hi to you. I believe this is Dr. Martin. Hello? Hello? All right, Dr. Martin is having some challenges there. But I'm reminding everyone that for those of you who your doctors have told you that you need to get a DNC, etc., etc. Good evening.
Good evening. This is Sandra. I'm tuning in.
Hey, Sandra, how are you?
I am doing good, thank you.
Nice hearing you. Thank you for calling, Sandra. I was actually talking to Dr. Martin and she got disconnected. So you just jumped in and took her place. I think she's calling me back. So I'll stay. Okay, so you can hang up so I can just wrap up with her, okay?
Okay, have a good night.
Thanks. Hi, Dr. Martin?
Yes, I'm using another phone. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. It's not as... Yeah, go ahead. That's fine. So,
I don't know at what point you got cut off. I was basically saying, oh boy, I was basically saying that the most important thing for people to know is not necessarily all the reasons why a DNC might be needed, but the most important thing I believe is that they should know why they should know as to what to do before and after this.
Okay. Right. Yeah, I'm hearing you. Sorry, I was just navigating my way with something here, but yes.
What to do before this, before and after this. You can't do analysis on those things before this, because aspirin and those things are anticoagulants, they drop the sugar foundation, get bleeding, more bleeding than necessary during the surgery, and complications. You want to avoid all those bleeding and pain, you want to avoid those things. before 3. You want to avoid eating anything new just after midnight. And then post-op, you want to avoid tobacco or being skinny or sexual contact.
Okay.
Because it's still wide open.
Yes.
And it's just wide closed back, and the infection can go up and infect the pig or so on and so forth. But if you follow your instructions from your professional, then usually it goes very, very well.
All right, it's 7:30. Can you just tell them where they can make contact with you?
Okay. My telephone number is 213-5811. My email address is drmonicamartin@yahoo.com. Doctor is a small dr, and Dr. Monica Martin at yahoo.com. And website is drmonicamartin.com or drmonicanews.com.
All right. Wonderful. You have stepped it up way, 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 way better than when we started. I'm proud of you, Dr. Martin. But I want to say thank you as always for joining me here on Health Zone. And I'm looking forward to speaking with you in the month of April. Yes, and enjoy your weekend when it comes. Love you, Dr. Monica Martin.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right. Okay, you too. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap for Health Zone here on Inside the Zone. It is Center Stage, the platform where voices are heard and people connect. 914-600-4228, 914-202-4934. That's 914-600-4228, 914-202-4934. It's Thursday. I understand a weather bird is somewhere lurking around the place, changing the whole dynamics of what we're experiencing today. But you know, here we are. We just take it as it comes. What are we going to do? Can't do a thing. 7:32 p.m. and I'm going into my music zone this evening. And who am I featuring this evening? The Isley Brothers. I'll be playing some nice love songs just for you, taking you up to the hour of 8 o'clock at the end of the show. And so let the word be known that you can dance, you can hug, you can sing, you can whatever you want to do. And I'm going to be signing off this segment on the Facebook Live, but I'll be back with the musical selections just for you. So stick and stay with me. Don't be mad at me, Facebook Live, but I got to wrap this up.